Hi Abdullah.
أهلين.
Thank you for being here with us. I think أنا هون العالم هلا رح تبلش تجي بس from the audience I'm sure كلكم بتعرفوا who كريم is. صح؟ بتعرفوا عبدالله الياس بالاسم؟
طيب let me ask you, who is a customer of Kareem? Raise your hands. Okay, wonderful. Who is a captain in Kareem? Okay, thank you. Who is a captain in Kareem? Okay, great.
إن شاء الله more to come. أنا قبل ما أفوت بقصة كريم, I'd like to know more about Abdullah. What does Abdullah like? Your personality, your background. If you can tell us شوي عن حالك. وأنا سوري حاب تكون بين الإنجليش والعربي.
Sure.
So تفضل.
So what do you want to hear?
Your background. Why did you come into the entrepreneurship industry? What drove you to be as innovative as you are now?
Good. But as for me, I am originally from Mecca, but I was born and raised in Germany. So I lived in Germany all my life. I studied computer science, and I ended up being a consultant. So I worked as a management consultant, and because we were always driven by having an impact, this is something the family taught us. After being a consultant back home, we programmed social networks for Muslims in Germany. So this is what we were doing as a bunch of young people in Germany. This was where after office hours our passion was. And at some point in time, Hanadi and myself, we thought, okay, why don't we bring both worlds together and come back to Saudi Arabia, where all this change is going on, all the social change is going on, because maybe through tech we can play a humble role in social influence and social impact. So we came back in 2009, and still I was working as a consultant, but then I found the address issue. We worked on a tech startup to solve the address issue here in Saudi. We did home deliveries for Aramex and IKEA, and then this was sold to Kareem. So this is the story, and the rest is history. Alhamdulillah, Kareem today is serving most of the people who are here in the room as either as customers or as captains.
Abdullah, especially بالسعودية في كتير car booking services وapps. شو اللي بيميز كريم عن the other car booking applications?
Yeah, هو in all what we do, we always try to be very local. يعني for example, when we started ما كان في الإمكانية إنه أدفع كاش في السيارة، كله كانوا credit cards. فإحنا أول ناس بدأنا بالpayment in cash. This was the first. Second, شفنا إنه معظم الناس يبغوا يكلموا أحد. They trust a service إذا في call center. والother apps ما كان عندهم call center. فإحنا قلنا لا, we have to actually deliver this service. So we started the call center, and today we have more than 1,500 people working in our call center. But it's a huge operations. Well, a lot of other things. قد سمعتوا عن الخطابة أونلاين؟
أنا على فكرة كتبت article عنها على ArabNet. It was تفضل.
Yeah, or التطعيس في الرياض on demand. يعني الشيب delivery في العيد. يعني all these very local marketing stunts were always coming from the team, because we believed in bringing amazing talent on board, and empowering them with their ideas.
بس localization, I think فيك تكون creative أكثر بالسعودية عن باقي الماركتس, لأنه especially Saudi يعني قبل compared to the others, it had its own rules, its own customs and traditions. قديش it was difficult to really localize كريم's content مثلا ببيروت بدبي, أي ماركت كانت أصعب in terms of localization وأيها كانت أسهل لكم؟
هو the deeper the culture in a country, the more interesting and creative we become. فمثلا when you go to Egypt, One of the very favorite ads on TV كانت an ad for Karim, where we talked really in a way only Egyptians understand. We talked here about how we make people's lives easier, and this was so Egyptian that most of the people within Karim didn't understand this ad. Same is true for Pakistan. We're doing a lot of things in Pakistan which are very unique to Pakistan. They will never fly anywhere else. Yes, it is always about not relying on the headquarter of Karim to define what to do in marketing when it comes to stunt. ولكن the local team really tells us how to win the city and the markets.
Abdullah, I want to dive more into the Saudi culture. Given all the changes that are happening with openness. اليوم, by the way, we had an opening panel where we got the CEOs of the Entertainment Authority and the Culture Authority. So Abdullah, as a Saudi leader, how do you see or how do you imagine Saudi is going to be in the next 5 years?
So there is a huge transformation going on, not only in Saudi.
You think it happened slowly or quickly?
Very quick, and we know that it's happening way quicker than everybody is even imagining. So to give you an example, a year ago it was an absolute taboo, not a year, 2 years ago it was an absolute taboo to drive a taxi as a Saudi. Mustahil, how comes? I am a taxi driver as a Saudi, mustahil. With technology, by today, we have every day 200,000 rides being done every day in Saudi Arabia, most of them done by Saudi captains. We have 400,000 captains, Saudi captains, signed up to our platform.
Amazing.
And no one even imagined that this will happen so fast. And the same is true for so many other areas of society, where the very young population, 70% of the people in Saudi are below 35. Most of them are on Twitter, YouTube, Snapchat, all the social media. And we are, in terms of penetration, mobile penetration, and in terms of time spent on social media, one of the top countries in the world. So it's very clear that with this population, with that willingness by the government to transform and change, things will happen way faster than anyone else is thinking. And I believe, to your question, where will it be in 5 years? Let me maybe talk about the next 2 years. I believe, because in 5 years no one can really imagine, but in the next 2 years I'm very sure that a lot of people will actually, when it comes to Karim, will be using us in almost everything in their daily lives. So we are already now going into foods, we are going into pay, we're going into buses, we are going into media. There's so many other things to come, and we have the vision that a lot of these startups, these wonderful startups which are here behind us in the hall, they can actually benefit from our platform. We want to integrate them as a platform, bring them in touch with, through APIs, bring them in touch with our customers so that they reach on the spot all the customers we have, not only in Saudi but outside of Saudi also, in 15 countries, 120 cities. And on the other hand, we want to provide our customers all the wonderful services they can offer. So we are moving from being an app which was bringing people from place to place, to an app which is bringing people from anywhere in the world to the services which everybody here in the region can offer.
أنا كنت سألت عن السعودية. I was gonna ask you وين بتشوف كريم بعد 5 years, but I think you answered it already. أنا حابة أشوف من الجمهور إذا كم حدا هون إذا an entrepreneur نفسه. Just one. عبدالله شو بتقول للعالم that are not entrepreneurs yet؟
ايش اسمك؟
وشو النصيحة اللي بتعطيها
جنى؟ Tell us a little bit what you're doing.
أنجاد الحربي.
Okay. يعني, the question is why to be an entrepreneur and why not to be an entrepreneur. Not everybody in the world should be an entrepreneur. It's very clear that this is not for everybody. We know for a fact that the digital markets and e-commerce in specific here in our region will have an expansion we haven't seen before. We are talking about at the moment 2% only of consumer spend being done online. 2%. This is going by 2030 to 20 to 30%. So this growth in consumer spend online can be captured by even more than the people we have here in the room. If everybody wants to become an entrepreneur, there's enough room for all of us actually to make an amazing ride in this wave. And so I would love for more and more people to actually be brave enough to test it out and to fail fast and often, and then try it again, because there's so much room really for everybody to grow into this together and to follow your role modeling into this. And when I just think of ArabNet a year ago, ArabNet 2 years ago, I don't think there was any ArabNet which was at that scale.
This is the biggest so far.
This is the biggest so far. And this is what's happening. Alhamdulillah, a lot of entrepreneurs, not only in Saudi, all across the Middle East, are becoming more and more confident that this is a path which is solid and which can become very rewarding on a personal level and on a society level.
Exactly, and we're very proud to be hosting the largest event so far, and not in any other market, بالعكس بالسعودية, which shows also the potential of the market نفسها, with all the initiatives and the visions being planned to encourage people to open up أكتر, encourage the foreigners to bring their businesses to Saudi as well, with the, for example, Saga's entrepreneurship licensing. أنت Abdullah, what keeps you going? Like, you talked about Karim's initiatives and giving back to the society, the jobs opportunities it creates for the Saudi market, for example. But Abdullah, as a person, what keeps you motivated and moving on and being creative from an initiative to initiative?
So it's the small things and the big things. The small things, when you just walk around your office and you see very inspiring people who are working with us. We don't even call them employees, we call them colleagues. We treat them as partners. We work together and we are inspired by them. We are learning from our colleagues. To see them grow, this is very, very inspiring, and it keeps me personally growing and going. And then on the bigger level, when we see that when we started and by today, the impact we have on society, the impact we have on the lives of our mothers, daughters,